When we are going through really challenging times, it can feel almost like it's impossible to see a way through it, let alone asking ourselves the question, why are we going through this? So let's walk together, and I'll share with you some ways to approach these very critical times in our life when setbacks and loss and challenges really actually push us towards resilience. Hey friend, welcome back to Grief Questions Answered. I'm your host, Eric, and it is my goal with these videos to share everything that I've learned about how to survive, find support in the loneliness of grief, and how to intentionally get back up and live beyond the loss of your loved one. If this tip doesn't help you today, I am confident it can and will help you at some point in the future, so be sure to save this video to watch later on. So I had a conversation with a family member, and the question came up is, why do I have to go through this? And it made me think about the process of grieving the loss of our loved ones. And there's something that's very important to understand about navigating grief and navigating loss, is that this is not the first time in your life that you have gone through some sort of crucible. Everything that you have experienced in life, every setback, every challenge, every struggle has shaped you to become the person you are today. And that by no means is an indication that you are not strong enough to navigate this journey of grief. It's just another crucible that you're having to navigate. And so when you think about the times in your life when you've been through some really tough setbacks, for example, I've been through 4 layoffs at work. I've been through a divorce. I've obviously been through the loss of Zoe, my daughter, and I've had other losses in life. And every single time I'm going through those struggles, I'm trying to figure out what's the purpose. Why do I have to go through this? Because in the moment, it doesn't feel like it's necessary, right? It doesn't feel like this challenge is doing anything but hurting you and making it more painful. But the example that I gave to this family member on our conversation was that, whenever we go through a crucible, such as the loss of a loved one, we are becoming stronger. And the only way we could become stronger isn't necessarily building a resilience muscle. I feel like what we're doing is we're actually shedding some old skin. The things that used to help us survive and get through no longer work in this situation of navigating loss. And so we, in a sense, we shed that old skin. And yet when we shed that skin, we're very vulnerable. I'm sitting here on purpose next to some lobster boats that are out there up here in Maine. And, it reminds me of a lobster in the sense that a lobster goes through this molting process where it will shed its outer shell, and what is left is this very soft, pliable shell, which means that this lobster is vulnerable until that shell hardens. And it hardens through going through that process of molting and reforming that stronger shell as it's growing. And that's one of the reasons why the lobster does molt, is that it's shedding that old shell to grow bigger, to fit into a larger shell. And so similarly, when we're going through the loss of a loved one, and we go through these crucibles where we're being tested and struggle, and it hurts and it's painful, ultimately we get to the place where we have gone from that vulnerable state back to some strength that we weren't ever sure was ever going to happen in the first place. And so if you're in a place right now where you're struggling with the loss of a loved one, and you're asking yourself, why do we need to go through things like this? It's not on purpose, meaning your loss didn't happen so that you could learn a lesson. But in the process of getting more resilient, you are learning how to be stronger. Every setback I've experienced in my life pales in comparison to losing Zoe. But I had some tools that I learned in each of those other setbacks that I could bring to the situation, on understanding that a loss happened and I will find a way through it, and that there is an end to it. It may be difficult. It's a long journey, and I'm always going to grieve Zoe. But I always love her. But at the same time, I'm learning how to be stronger in this process. I'm still learning how to become stronger every single day through conversations with family and friends and my coaching clients and even my own experience of navigating this path. And so if you are struggling right now on how you're going to get through this, here's my tip. Just keep going. Just keep connecting to people. Just keep fighting for your better days, because they are coming. And there's no greater gift to your loved one than to carry on. And despite all the cars going by where I'm at here, please know that the only way we can get stronger is by going through these fires. And again, this isn't the first fire that you've had to deal with in your life, this first struggle, and you are getting stronger. So as always, I hope this helps. Do you have a question about grief that I can answer for you? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't done so yet, click that subscribe button down below, as this is one of the best ways to get notified of new videos just like this and to show support for the channel. Let's continue to walk together, and I'll see you in next week's video.